Ever wonder why modern apps feel like Frankenstein's monster of code? You see an interesting GitHub repo and wonder what language it is written in, only to find out that the guy that made it used every language known to man? I mean, why not pick one language and call it a day? Well, despite what Chad has been preaching to you on Reddit, no single language is best at everything, and real systems are just a collection of different problems. Each one often needs a different tool. Think of a software project like a kitchen. You don't use a chef's knife to blend soup or a whisk to chop onions. For example, the browser runs JavaScript or TypeScript because it's the only language the browser natively understands. That makes JavaScript the natural choice for UI interactivity, DOM fiddling, and client-side logic. Backend services, however, have very different constraints: CPU-bound tasks, heavy I/O, strict latency requirements, and all that boring stuff. Node thrives at event-driven I/O, Go shines for low-latency network services, Java brings a mature ecosystem for enterprise workloads, and Python dominates data science and machine learning. Big products stitch these together. Take YouTube. Front-end JavaScript for the player UI. C++ in the media stack for performance, Python and Go in backend services. Netflix uses Java on the server and Python for data tasks. Instagram uses Python for backend logic, React for web, and native Swift and Kotlin on mobile. That's not chaos, it's deliberate specialization. Not only that, but sometimes multiple languages even live inside a single component. This happens when you need both developer ergonomics and raw speed. A classic pattern is friendly shell with a performance kernel. For example, many machine learning libraries expose Python APIs for ease of use, but the heavy lifting runs in C++ or CUDA under the hood. TensorFlow and PyTorch do this. Python makes experimentation fast. C++ and GPU kernels make training fast. On the mobile side, Android apps are written in Kotlin or Java for UI and lifecycle integration, but drop to C++ via JNI when they need native performance for audio processing, game engines, or custom rendering. WebAssembly now lets you compile Rust or C++ to run alongside JavaScript in the browser, giving you near-native performance for compute-heavy parts while keeping the rest in JS. How do all these different pieces talk to each other? Well, through contracts like APIs, message queues, and standard protocols. Microservices popularize the idea that each service is its own small team with the freedom to choose the best language for their domain, as long as they communicate over HTTP REST, gRPC, or a message bus like Kafka. So your node authentication service can hand off data to a Python recommendation engine via gRPC, and the results can be stored in PostgreSQL containers, and orchestration tools like Docker and Kubernetes made this even easier, letting teams package services with their exact runtime and dependencies. The boundary becomes network calls, not language barriers. There are practical reasons teams go multi-language beyond raw performance. Hiring and specialization matter. A data scientist prefers Python because of NumPy and pandas. A back-end engineer might prefer Go for simplicity and concurrency, while front-enders love TypeScript for developer ergonomics. Using several languages allows each team to move faster and be happier. Interop with existing systems is another driver. Large enterprises often have decades of Java code. Introducing Kotlin or Scala incrementally lets them modernize without rewriting everything. Incremental adoption is why Kotlin gained traction. It runs on the JVM and can be introduced file by file in Java projects. But it's not all roses. Multi-language stacks introduce complexity. Operations teams must support multiple runtimes. Local dev environments get heavier, and integrating disparate logging, tracing, and deployment pipelines becomes a challenge. You trade a monolith's single-node simplicity for distributed system complexity. That's why good architecture favors boundaries and contracts, small teams, clear interfaces, shared observability, and if you too want to make complex projects with multiple languages, or just want to learn a new one for fun, you need to check out Codecrafters, the sponsor of today's video. Their platform gives you access to unique projects that will help you stand out from the competition without the clown shoes and nose. Want to build an HTTP or DNS server from scratch? Check. Hell, you can even craft your own version of Git, all while others are still struggling to center that annoying div in their to-do app. You can start some projects free of charge, and if you use my link in the description, you can get yourself a whopping 40% off, so hurry up. This was Codehead with yet another tech rant. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. Lights out.